All right, we are back with another Instant Reaction podcast. It's Pat Lane here, as always, with Keegan. Keegan, Cameron McGrone, my man, getting an inside middle linebacker. I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's my boy. Let me take you guys back to April 19th, 2021. Your boy at Keegan Stiefel on Twitter tweeted, "If I had to put money on the Patriots drafting any one player, it would be this guy. Read about Cameron McGrone below." And it was Burns' draft profile on Cameron McGrone. This guy was born to take over for Dante Hightower. Not a similar player by any means. Big size difference in size. Dante Hightower is a lot bigger than McGrone. Hightower's, that versatile guy who can play inside, outside, do it all. But if you want a guy in the middle of your defense who can stop the run, this is it. Like this is that dude.
Yep.
He before we went live, I told Pat he's psychotic. He's a crazy person. He's one of those guys who's just gonna run at you and hit you as hard as he can with his face. And I love it. I've loved the pick. I've been on the board with him probably since February, and I'm ecstatic. I think this is the best pick of the draft so far for them, honestly.
Great. Pumped about it. And Spags tweeted out a half an hour ago, Cameron McGrone, let's get him at 177, roughly. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but right. and they hit it at 177. So look, I love it. I mean, it's surprising to me simply because he's 6'1", 234. He's undersized. But like you said, he plays like an animal. So like he can still work inside. It is going to be interesting to see, again, a young guy, dude, redshirt sophomore, like, they're picking up
20
young
years
guys.
Old.
Didn't play a ton last year. Played last year, but didn't play a ton last year. So like, and another, dude, this is 2 Alabama guys, 2 Oklahoma guys, and they're back in the well with Michigan. So this is what they're doing. They're going to these Power 5 schools. They're going to, the schools that they have familiarity with, where they're saying a tough year to scout, tough year to kind of do those things. And look, man, I wanted, this is why I love Nick Bolton, right? This is what I loved about Nick Bolton. He came downhill and he just laid the wood. And so
you got him in the 5th round.
I'm cool with it. So I'm like, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? So that's what I wanted. I wanted an inside linebacker that would just come down and just murder people. And that's what we got.
We talked about night one, just kind of looking ahead to the rest of the draft, what we really wanted to see them. And I believe it was Spags who said, I just want to see them get another Landon Roberts. Like, he was so valuable to this team when he was here, special teams wise, that early down role playing against the run. This is him. This is it. You got him. Another guy who's going to make his name on special teams early on, just like, we talked about with Ramondre Stevenson. All that stuff came out after we got off the air about how the guy did everything on special teams at Oklahoma. McGrone's the same kind of player. And what I love most about the pick is the Patriots have a great track record with Michigan defenders under Jim Harbaugh, because that guy does not know how to use defensive football players. And Bill Belichick's like, ooh, you didn't know how to do it, but I think I know how to do it. So he picks him up. Winovich has been their best pass rusher for last year, definitely. And then the year before, he was one of their better pass rushers. And then Josh Uche, when he wasn't injured, was the most explosive playmaker on the field. So you've got another guy who's going to come in, and I would expect him to play better at the NFL level than he ever did at college.
Yeah. Well, and this is, and again, this is what you're bringing to your defense, right? You're turning you're lacking youth on your defense, right? So you've started to bring in guys like Winovich, like Uche, like Duggar. Now you bring in today or yesterday Barmore, and what's his name?
Ronnie Perkins.
God's sakes, thank you, Perkins. I'm like, what the hell's Ronnie Perkins? And that can both get after the passer, right? I think Perkins, they said, was the only guy. PFF was the only DN that they had graded 90 or above against the run and the pass.
Yep.
So guys that can do both, and you bring some youth and athleticism to the defense again that we've been missing. And and so now again you get the same thing with McGrone. And look, if he turns out to be a Landon Roberts and that's all you're getting, I mean, like, what? That's a valuable piece to your defense.
For a 5th round pick, that's exactly what you're looking for. Like, I know we like the stories like Mike Onwenu, who came in and was a starter right away, and then Tom Brady, who's the greatest quarterback of all time, pick 199. That shit doesn't happen. Like, it doesn't happen. So what teams are looking for realistically is, can we get a guy who serves a specific role in our team and does it really well and maybe gives a couple of extra things? That's what McGrone is as a player. He's going to be an early down run stuffing linebacker. Not the most athletic guy, but he's a great special teamer. And we'll bring this up real quick, how Belichick only drafts his coaching buddies' schools. I mean, I made fun of the Raiders for drafting Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama players, I mean, Bill Belichick does the same thing. He drafts from Michigan, Alabama, and it works.
Except he drafts good players.
Yeah, exactly. It works for him. He doesn't draft the guys who were good in college. He drafts the best prospects and makes them good. Yeah. But, I can't say enough good things about this pick. I think this is exactly what they needed at this spot. Now, later on, maybe they'll be able to grab Stone Forsythe, who is might be under criminal investigation or something. I don't know why he hasn't been drafted.
I'm rooting for K. Johnson or Shi Smith. Those are the guys
and then they can grab a corner or a wide receiver, something in the back half. I think this draft is turning out really, really nicely for the Patriots.
And I like it. And listen, I'm rooting for McGrone for multiple reasons, but one of the biggest reasons is because when the initial comp picks came out, I was so pissed and made such a scene, like a whining, sniveling baby on Twitter about how they got screwed out of a pick because of friggin' a Landon Roberts.
Right.
Interestingly enough, Landon Roberts didn't play week 17, so they got screwed out of a pick. And the NFL looked at it again and said, you know what? We'll give you a 5th round pick. And boom, here's the pick. And so Landon Roberts, thank you, Landon Roberts. We just drafted your replacement with the pick that the NFL didn't want to give us, but finally gave it to us.
Yeah, a 1-for-1 replacement. It's perfect. It couldn't have worked out any better.
I agree.
And real quick, I had this guy rated as a 3rd down prospect. I thought he was going to go before, KJ Britt went right before him to Tampa Bay. I thought that was he's way better than KJ Britt.
Yeah.
So shoot, another guy falls to the Patriots. Barmore was a 1st-round talent, fell in the 2nd round. Perkins, a 2nd-round talent, fell to the 3rd. McGrone, a 2nd or 3rd-round talent, falls to the 5th.
Right. I'm loving it. And this is what the Patriots do, right? They look at talent, they look at the guys, okay, what do we need? Not only what do we need, but what's there? What's the value that's there? And oh my goodness, this guy's still here. And I really believe that that's what happened with Perkins, is you looked at it and said, we get to this point in the draft and Ronnie Perkins is still here. How can we not take him? Another edge guy. And so what? We got a million edge defenders. The Bills are doing the same thing, by the way. The Bills are the same thing. They had Epinesa last year. They drafted Rousseau in the 1st round. They drafted another D-end in the 2nd round. So the Bills are doing the same thing. Good teams know that you win on the edge now in the NFL, and you have to have those guys. And so, you get edge guys, and then you get the 2 guys in the middle with Barmore and McGrone. I'm loving it. I'm loving the way the draft is going right now. Again, I'd like another skill position player, whether it's corner or wide receiver or both. But, I'm loving the way this is going so far.
Yeah, in terms of how the defense is going to look, I wrote about it last night in the Why Did the Patriots Draft Ronnie Perkins article. And it applies here to McGrone as well. They have so many players who can play multiple roles, whether it be 4-3 defensive end or interior defensive lineman, 3-4 defensive end or outside linebacker. All these guys who can fill multiple roles, they're just going to pick the best athletes and the best players.
Right.
And that's how they're going to mold their defense. And I think realistically, in terms of the guys who can make the roster and stuff, they might be the most schematically diverse defense in the NFL. They can do everything. They can run any front at any time. We love that amoeba cover 0, bail everybody out, get everybody up on the line, stuff like that. They're going to be able to do whatever they want next year. Yeah. And Bill Belichick, the only way you can game plan against his defense is knowing its limitations. Now no one's going to know what their limitations are because they don't know who's going to play. So this keeping yourself, versatile and not letting anybody know what you're really going to be doing week in and week out. I mean, Bill Belichick's they're going to hold teams to 6 points a week. I'm flabbergasted at how well this is turning out for them.
Yep. I'm loving it. So another good pick by the Patriots here at 177. I believe 190 something is their next
192?
pick. 192, maybe? I think you're right. So somewhere around there. So we'll be back then, if not before then. And by the way, if you're not on the stream, if you're on the stream, I'm talking to you on the stream, obviously, but you got to come just for the D-backs hat, man. That's a dope looking hat.
It's pretty sweet, right? I got the matching shorts. I won't stand up and show everybody what they don't see, but I got the matching shorts too. So
look at that.
Pretty sweet.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon.